Ms. Park, and today I wanted to do a read aloud on informational text. Do you guys remember what informational texts are? Think, think, think. Yes, you're right. Informational text is a book that tells us facts, like real information about something. It could be an animal, it could be a building, it could be about any object or subject, and it tells us real information, like facts. And today I'm going to read a book on animals. Can you guys guess which animal I'm going to read you guys today? I'm going to give you some hints. This animal lives in a place that's very, very cold. And it also has a lot of snow. Can you guys guess which animal? Yeah, some of you guys guessed it right. They are polar bears. Great job. Today I'm going to read an informational text about polar bears. Are you guys ready to learn some new facts about polar bears? Give me a thumbs up. Yay! And are these illustrations? No, these are real pictures of polar bears because this is an informational text. So it's not going to have paintings or drawings, but they're going to have pictures like this. Oh, sometimes it may have illustrations like drawings of maps to show us where they live, but they have real pictures of polar bears for you guys to see. So are you guys ready? This says powerful polar bears. And this has a picture of polar bears right here. Powerful Polar Bears by Elizabeth Bennett. She's the author. And cute polar bears sleeping. And boys and girls, remember contents? It's like table of contents. It tells us what each page are going to be talking about. And on page 4, which is chapter 1, it's going to be talking about polar bears, like general information. It says, meet the polar bear. And chapter 2, it says, home on the ice. What do you guys think it's going to be talking about? You're right. It's going to be talking about where they live and how do they make their homes. And chapter 3 is dinner time. So I think it's going to be talking about what they eat. And it says bear cubs. You guys remember what cubs are? They're baby bears. You're right. So I'm excited. Chapter 1, meet the polar bear. Brr. What kind of bear loves to tumble in the snow and swim in icy cold water? The polar bear. The polar bear is the largest member of the bear family. Polar bears are even bigger than grizzly bears. They're bigger than grizzly bears. It says fast fact. Polar bears' long necks help them keep their heads above the water when they swim. So in order to keep their heads out of the water, they have long necks. Polar bears look a lot like their brown and black bear cousins, but there are also some important differences. Polar bears have smaller heads, smaller ears, and longer necks. Polar bear size chart. Females can grow up to 7 and 8 feet and weigh up to 500 to 600 pounds. That's a very heavy bear. And male polar bears can grow up to 8 to 10 feet and can weigh 720 to 1,700 pounds. Do you guys see that? A big polar bear. How big are polar bears? Some full-grown males are 10 feet tall. Wow. That's a tall polar bear. Polar bears have white fur. The fur is great camouflage. You guys know what camouflage are, right? Yes. Under the fur, polar bears have black skin. The skin absorbs heat from the sun. This helps them stay warm. So where do you think polar bears camouflage to? You're right, the snow. They have the same, their fur is white, which is the same color as the snow. So when you look far away, they will camouflage to the background. So it will just look like there's a big pile of snow, but there might be a polar bear hiding. Polar bears have a layer of fat called blubber to help keep them warm. So polar bears have one fact is that they have a layer of fat to keep them warm. Also, they have black skin under their white fur, which absorbs all the light so they can be warm in the cold weather. Polar bears have special feet. The bottoms of their paws have little bumps like a basketball. This keeps them from slipping on ice. Polar bears also have extra skin between each toe like a duck. This helps them to swim. So on the bottom of their foot, they have little bumps like basketballs to help them from slipping on ice. Just like, and they have extra skin between their toes. So this helps them to swim, like webbed feet. We learned about webbed feet in class. Home on the ice. The red shows where polar bears live in the world. Do you guys see where that is? That's the Arctic Ocean. They live around the Arctic Ocean. Polar bears make their homes in some of the coldest spots on Earth. They live in Russia, Greenland, and Canada. They also live in Alaska, which is part of the United States. There are about 25,000 polar bears in the world. They spend a lot of time swimming. They also spend a lot of time roaming across ice and snow. Do you guys know what roaming means? It means they like walk around and crawl around the ice. Polar bears like to swim, and polar bears like to walk. That's a big polar bear. A polar bear waits for a storm to end. Can you spot him? Do you guys see a polar bear? Right here, it camouflaged around the snow, but you can still see the face. During a storm, a polar bear may dig a shelter in the snow and curl up in a tight ball. He will stay there until the storm ends. Polar bear footprints look like this. This is a polar bear's footprints. A home range is the area an animal travels when it looks for food or it takes care of its young. Polar bears have a big home range. They can walk 15 miles in one day. Wow. So home range is an animal that polar bears would go to look for food. And they can walk 15 miles in one day. That is a lot of miles. Chapter 3 is talking about dinner time. It's going to tell us about what they eat. Seals are prey for polar bears. What makes a perfect meal for a polar bear? Polar bears will eat a beluga whale, walruses, birds, fish, or reindeer, but their favorite food is seals. So seals are prey, which means it's something that polar bears eat, and they love seals. Polar bears watch the water for signs of seals swimming below the surface. When a seal comes up for air, snatch! The polar bear uses his sharp claws to grab it. So this polar bear is looking for seals underwater, and when the seal comes up, what is the polar bear going to do? They're going to snatch it up and eat it. Polar bear rests after a big meal. That's just like Ms. Park. After she eats a big meal, she goes to the couch and lays down because she's so full. You eat every day, but a polar bear only eats once a week. What? A meal like a seal is so big that it keeps a polar bear full for a long, long time. Ooh, that's a really interesting fact. When polar bears eat one seal, they don't eat for another week because they're so full. In the summer, polar bears munch grass, berries, and seaweed. Many animals eat more in the summer because food is hard to find in the winter. Polar bears do the opposite. They eat a lot in the winter because seals and other prey are harder to catch in the summer. So when the snow melts, polar bears eat berries and munches on grass and seaweeds because seals are not there anymore. So they eat more in the winter and they eat less in the summer because seals are harder to catch. And last chapter is bear cubs. So it will be about baby bears. So cute. Polar bears live here. Ooh, they live in this cave they made out of snow. In late fall, a female polar bear may build a den like this in a snowbank. She will sleep there until her cubs are born a few months later. A polar bear usually gives birth to twins. In early spring, Mama and her little cubs leave their den. It's time to explore the snowy white world. So polar bears often give birth to twins. Cubs learn by copying their mother's movements. A mama polar bear takes great care of her cubs. She shows them how to hunt for food. She shows them how to survive. So they copy the mother to know how to walk and hunt for food. Young polar bears like to wrestle. When polar bears are about 2.5 years old, they are ready to live on their own. They know how to swim and get food. They also know how to play. So that's 2 baby polar bears wrestling. They're big polar bears, even though they're babies. Most popular bears live to be about 18 years old. Young or old, polar bears love to play. And there's a list of glossary, like it tells us what absorbs mean, camouflage, we already know that. The whole list of glossary, which is very, you see a lot of glossary in informational text because they're factual, they're facts, they're factual information. So they want you to know the meaning of these words to understand. And some questions and bonus polar bear facts. Bonus polar bear facts are polar bears can smell seals 20 miles away. They have good smelling skills. Polar bears creep slowly on their bellies to keep from breaking through very thin ice. So they, I guess, swim on their bellies so the snow doesn't break underneath them so they don't fall into the water. When a polar bear wants to play, it wags its head from side to side, like a dog wags its tail because they want to play. Awesome! So now we read about powerful polar bears. Did you guys have fun? Yes. And I have a challenge for you guys. This week, we learned about so many facts about polar bears. I want you guys to go to your mommy, go to your daddy, go to your grandma, go to your neighbor, whomever is at home and it's easy for you to meet and talk to, and tell them 3 new facts that you learned about polar bears. So for Ms.Park, Ms.Park's thinking, what did I learn about polar bears that is new? I have one. One is I didn't know that they had black skin underneath their white fur, and they have black skin to absorb all the light and heat so they can be warm. And the second fact is that I didn't know that their favorite food were seals. I didn't know that. That's a new fact. And the third fact is, I'm thinking, I didn't know that they could walk for 15 miles a day. That's very cool to me. So just like Ms.Park, remember 3 facts, something new that you learned about polar bears, and tell that to your friends, family, whomever is at home, and record that and upload it on Class Dojo for me to see. I'm excited to see your videos and I hope you have fun. Bye, polar bear masters.